Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan, and it is Block Wednesday. It is summer camp. I am so excited. 9 blocks, takes us through the summer. Super easy, super fun. Use what you have or use a bundle. Just got lots and lots of fun things. Also today, I have a surprise. Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop sent me the 4 quilts that are on auction for the Robb Elementary School Memorial for that fund that we're doing the auction for. There's a couple more days to bid on the quilts, and she sent me the quilts here so that I could show them to you. I am so honored, and we're going to do that after we do the block. So what is the first thing about summer camp? For me, one of the big things about the campsite itself, are the tents. The tents were very prominent. They were the main thing that you saw when you came, in on the bus every day, because it was a day camp, and we went, only spent one night of the week there overnight. But the tents were just the thing. And plus, I have a tent story, because we were tasked, the Girl Scouts, to put up the tents. And the first year, of course, my tent was a massive mess. There was a bunch of us, and we'd never set up a tent. So, the tents had poles like this, and ours went like that in the middle, like all the way down. It was so funny. But by the end, we got better at putting up the tents. Inside was where you would do activities. If it rained, you would be in there. You would store your stuff. There would be the food in there. And then, of course, on the overnight, we would sleep in them. So there would be the sleeping bags and all the things about the tent. So what's the block look like? Ta-da! Now this block does kind of look like a tent. They aren't going to all be like that, or like a mountain, but there is lots of ways you can do this block. You don't have to set this layout. And so I have a few tips on making it, and then I'm going to show you another set of fabrics that I sort of swirled around and did all these layouts. So let's get to it. So I have a question for you. When the fat quarters come, or your fat eighths, or anything that's folded, even your yardage, there are creases. Sometimes, fairly substantial creases. So what do? Do you just take your ruler and go and, cut over top of those, sort of pressing hard? I know, I have done that too. But I am trying now to not do that anymore, because it means your fabric isn't flat, which means your patchwork and your shapes are not going to be accurate. So I am taking that extra step and going over and pressing out. And I tell you what, I don't press the whole thing, because I'm not using the whole thing. And I might not use it, and it might just get those creases back in there for months or years. So I just press the part that I need. So for the pattern, I am doing the light blue just in here, and I only need 2, because I'm going to do 2 from each color. So that means I just need to press out actually that crease. That's it. So I only press that crease. The next time, if I need more, I press more. What if I don't ever use this blue again in this 9 blocks? Then I didn't have all of this pressed and taking that time, which is kind of, to me, useless if I only need this, and the creases are all going to go back in there and sit on my shelf for a long time. So that is how I'm handling it nowadays. I just press how much I need. Here it is with just these 2 cut out. So I've cut out the 2 squares that I need, and the rest of this, there are creases still, the folded from the manufacturing, process of, folding them up into fat quarter bundles. And then now, if I never use this blue again, I can just fold this back up, and it will be on my shelf. So I'm going to keep them folded how they come in the bundle. So just put it together, and it goes back, and I have the 2 to use. I haven't done cutting the half square triangles and trimming them in a little while, so I thought I'd show you for those of you who may have never done it. This is the ruler. I'll put this so you can see it better. This is the ruler I'm using. It's a quilt in the day. It's for trimming on the 1/2 inch, and the other side is trimming for the full inch. And you're making 2 squares. You're taking 2 squares, the dark and then the background, and sewing on either side of the center line. And then you'll cut there. You'll cut on what would be the center line. you could have drawn it, or like I use the laser beam on my machine, or there's other tools you can put on the bed of your machine to keep you running down the middle. So now I have to trim these. These are slightly oversized. They need to be 6.5 inches, which means I have to go to the side where the label is actually, and this is 6.5. You can see the 6.5 here, and I have to take that line and put it on the seam. So that's what I'll do now. So that line is on the seam, right along the seam, and then I will be trimming both sides. So I'll go one side, and then, whoops, I slid it off. Of course, while I'm filming, right? Okay. Then the other side. So here's both sides trimmed off. So this is 6.5. Then I like to just sort of take off the little dog ears so that when I fold it open, I don't have those anymore. Some people like to use other tools to do that. I just do it with the rotary cutter. Now I can press this open, and there is my half square triangle that will be making 1/4 of the block. And then the next step, you'll be taking this, sewing from corner to corner, flipping it for the rest of the block. One more little tip on this. If you lay the ruler down, and let's say that you accidentally put it on the wrong line. So this is accidentally now on the 5.5, and you go to trim it, and there is a lot to trim. Stop. Tell your brain, don't cut. Double check, because there should never be this much when you're using this method. You should only be doing little slivers like this. So this is a good indication. So be on your A game, at least if you haven't done this recently, so that you don't get on the wrong line. You always want to be on the number that you're making. You're making in 6.5 inch square. You want to be on the 6.5 inch number. And then when you trim, you only have that little bit that has to be trimmed. Oops, got the whole cord in there for you. Ta-da! So here's the other set I did so that I could show you these variations, because I think that would be pretty fun to just do it in real fabric, although I didn't do the background colors different. So these are set up with all the light background. So if I want to switch it to this guy, I would be rotating this one and that one, and there you get this sort of motion going across, and I don't know, lightning bolt kind of a feel. Now if you want to do the box, there we go, we flip this and flip this, and here we go to a box setting. That would be fun if you did alternating, like I had the two different blues, if you had two different pinks here. Now this pinwheel guy down here on the bottom is I will rotate so that this pink point is to the outside. And on the coloration, I was using a dark background just to show you something different. But there we go for the pinwheel. I love that one. I love that one. Here is a similar sort of blade, I don't know, Blade Runner kind of deal as the one above it. So how do we go there? So we've got the pink in the center, and then the pink to the outside, the pink to the center, and the pink to the outside. So you've got this sort of zigzaggy thing, but it's going a different direction than on the other layout. Here we have this would be using the white as the base. Now if you did a different color background, it would look quite different, but there we are. So if this was dark, that would give you more the effect of this layout here. And then the same is, we just rotate those two, and you've got the light in the center, which if that was dark, it would give you a different look than the one right above it, where this is just rotated to the outside. There we go. Fun. Like I say, with every block on our Block Wednesdays, I would love to make a whole quilt of these. I think it would be really fun doing a lot of maybe different backgrounds. Like I just took this fat quarter bundle, there's a lot of lights. You could do different lights in the background, and then pick one of these layouts or several of those layouts. You know, it could be anything like that. Okay, now let's go look at the quilts. We're going to go on the other side. I've got them all set up, and we will take a look in person. I am so honored that Kimberly sent them here. So we're going to take a look at them. The auction is still up for the Robb Elementary Memorial Fund, so that you can either donate or you can just bid on the quilt, and the quilt could be yours. One of the 4 quilts that are up for auction. Here we are. I want to get off to the side. I have all 4 of the quilts here that are being auctioned for Robb Elementary Memorial Fund. And I'm going to walk you through them, and I'll take you up close on the chicken salad. And I'll talk about that one last, because it's a little bit more to understand what that quilt is about if you want to make one yourself. So first we have, let's see on the wall, is my Sweet Dreams that Kimberly did with a more limited color palette. She basically did a red, white, and blue, and the blue did a navy and a light blue. Look. It is just so spectacular. All 4 of these auctions are ending in about 4 days. So you have a little bit more time. They're so great. So let me show you the other 2, and then we'll go to the 4th one. So this one is called Brick Houses. It is a free pattern. There we go. Ta-da! Look how exciting that is. I know when Kimberly first talked about doing this, that she was going to take like fabrics from a project that she was working on and then make a house from those. Like, look at this. Look how cute that fabric is in that corner. Oh, the little house. Yeah, so she has, I'll just show you a couple of the houses up close. So fabulous, right? Look at that. And here is the backing on this one. She always does a nice backing. She's got another house block on there. Now, so this is a free pattern. So the links are all at my website today and in the description box here. So you can get that pattern if you want to make a brick house. Okay, the other quilt is, I think probably, I'm not positive, but I think the blocks were when she was demoing the blocks for a sew along for the flea market quilt. So I think she was making these blocks, and then they went into their own quilt. So the layout isn't specifically in this book, but all of these basket blocks are from there. So as a whole, it's got, all these quilts have a very similar feel, like sort of the, well, not these, this one and this one have a similar feel. It's got this beautiful aqua backing, and let me just get it right side up. The baskets are set on point. Here we go. Aren't they gorgeous? This aqua color is amazing, just beautiful. And then Kimberly she did all the aqua on the backing, and then has her label there. All right, let's take a close-up of the chicken salad in a moment. But first, let me just tell you what this project was. It's called chicken salad because Lori Holt's pattern, and she was doing a sew along, and it was an applique chicken, and I believe it was kind of this layout, but Kimberly didn't want to, she doesn't like to applique, and she wanted to do piece blocks. So she asked Lori to give her the same number of piece blocks like in a layout, so that she could do one and follow along. So Lori used both her vintage books, vintage Farm Girl vintage books. So the blocks are from the 2 different books, and this is, I believe, her kitchen or cooking line, something like that, the fabric line. So let's take a look at the quilt up close. First, I want to show you the rickrack in the binding. Here it is. Look how cool that is, the rickrack in there. So there's lots of fabrics in here that have a lot of activity in them, like, you know, this is a kitchen line, so there's silverware in that one. Look at the roosters, the cute roosters. There's coffee pots and teacups, and same up there, but in different format. That one has a rooster. There's pot holders. I like this coffee urn. So look at that. Very, very cute stuff. You know, the interesting part is it's like one of those quilts that I did recently where I had a lot of pattern. This one, a lot of the patterns now, Kimberly used the ones with lighter backgrounds. I think that's super key to it, is that all of this sashing with all of those, you know, prints that have a lot of stuff going on, they are all done with a light background, so that really makes it work when you come back and see it. Then she was very careful to use prints for the items that were more distinct. They weren't these big prints. They read more solid so that you could actually distinguish the item against those busier prints used in the sashing, and it turned out super cute. And then here is the Sweet Dream she did up close. Oh, the blocks just turned out so awesome in the red, white, and blue. Just amazing. I love it. It's like I'd like to make another one now, red, white, and blue. Don't you just love that rickrack in there? I just think that's marvelous. Now, I haven't done rickrack in a binding for a long time, so I think that has to go on my list to do again because it is so cool to do. This one is getting the highest bid so far, so a lot of you love this one. It is very soft, it is very vintagey. The fabrics have a lot of pattern in them, so you know, it is a very fun quilt, and it'll make a wonderful auction. All of these will be auctioned for a wonderful amount for the Robb Memorial. Robb Elementary School Memorial Fund. All right, so besides going and bidding on the quilts, or you can just directly donate, the link is at my website, or if you want to send a quilt, Linus projects in that area, that region, is accepting quilts. There's links, all of that, at my website today. Also, it is summer camp, so we are on our first block of summer camp, celebrating the tents of the camp, because they are the heart, the core, the base home of every camp is the tent. So make your block, share it over at my Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, and also you can share it at my website today. There's a share at the bottom of the page. All right, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.